everyone. Welcome to today's episode. And I'm honored to have one of my favorite artists that I came across on YouTube. And I really like his personality. I really like his style. I like how he doesn't charge people for his knowledge. He's very generous, and I really like that about Ben. His name is Ben Lustenhouwer. You can find him on YouTube, and he's living the life of a portrait artist, and I think you're living in Spain. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, I'm Dutch, and I live in Spain already for 30 years now.
Point well taken.
Well,
30 years, that's saying something, right?
yeah, it does, yes.
That's fantastic. So first of all, I guess you obviously like Spain, right?
Yeah, well, we happened to come here by accident. I mean, there was an opportunity to come for 1 year, and we stayed longer than 1 year, and then we happened to stay. It was not really a big decision. We love the life here, and it reminds me of the life in the village where I was born in the 50s. Maybe that's why I fell in love with this sort of life here, you know.
Yeah, I've seen some of your videos where you're having wine with friends and things like that. It looks fantastic. What a great social life too.
Yeah. Life is nice in this small village. It's really a small village, and well, lovely people, and nice to land here.
That's fantastic. I've never been to Spain, but I almost went to Spain in high school.
Yeah, there are some roots in Philippines and Spain.
Yeah, I know. I know, but unfortunately, we didn't get very much wine here. So
yeah, well, come over.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah,
I found the other day a bottle of wine in my budget, and which is about $5, and and it was from Portugal. Where's that bottle? Anyway, and great wine, fantastic wine for $5. I think Portugal. Here it is. Here it's Pegos. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, sort of. Pegos, yeah.
I don't drink, but I do like wine.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to help with the eyes. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you right off about art and drawing is eyesight, because I've been experiencing my eyes becoming more blurry, and as somebody who likes to draw, this is not fun for me, and I'm in denial that I need glasses. I'm just really in denial about it.
Yeah.
But here I am wearing them now, so.
Yeah, well, I have glasses since I was 4 years old, so I'm quite used to it. Yeah, well, eyes are the windows of what you see, so it's really the most important thing for a painter.
Mm-hmm. So should I don't need to, I mean, it's natural as you age that the eyes are going to change, so don't worry about it, is that?
I can't tell you. There is an issue. Scientific people are wondering how El Greco made these small faces, and they were thinking that he had such a thing in his eyes, but it's stupid. If you make these small faces, you see them the same as you see the subject. So it was his style. I think it had nothing to do with his eyes, but
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you immediately you were drawn to art when you were a boy? You just saw a pad of paper and you said, that's it, I have to have a pencil and a piece of paper?
Yeah, I was always drawing, but lately this week I saw an interview with Norman Rockwell, and he said I was at school, I was bad in everything, bad in sports, Uh, I couldn't learn so easily, and it was the only thing that I was good at. And for me, the same story. So I was always drawing. So and I went, and that was my big luck. My parents could send me to a private teacher when I was 11 years old. And there I started, and then everything. School for me was a prison, you know. And at that private teacher, well, then it was really heaven. One day a week, it was heaven. So I started very early to develop my drawing skills with the drawing teacher, and I attended later his classes during the week. And so by the age of 15, I was very well developed with my drawing skills, which was easy because it's hard stuff, you know, all these still life that you have to draw. But I did it with I was delighted to do that. So I was pretty young that I was already involved in, well, making my idea up in being an artist. But no, but to be honest, I think I was more making up my mind to be independent, more than being an artist. I thought I must be independent because in class everybody was already far ahead of me. They knew everything, all the answers, and I didn't know anything. That was my opinion. So I think, well, I go away. I make my own spot, and that's
So
what
you
I
have
did.
something. So you have something.
Yeah. That was my own world. That's what I knew at the early age already. I wanted to be. My life is an independent one.
Mm.
And I was very lucky that I could follow my dream. I mean, I really was lucky because imagine you want to be a firefighter or a pilot and you don't have any skills for that, and you still dream. You must aim for something that's reachable. Well, my dream was reachable. I had to work hard, but my dream was reachable. Yeah.
And you also had parents that supported you, which is fantastic,
Oh yeah,
right?
my father was really proud of me. I'm the eldest boy of 8 children, 2 sisters ahead, and every now and then he took all my drawings and showed them to all the neighbors, and I was really ashamed, but my father was really proud of what I did. Yes, and he saw my future.
Yeah, I think my parents were supportive of me. I got the art desk that I
Yeah,
wanted when I was 8, and got the horse drawing books and human faces and everything, and all
yeah,
the little blue mechanical pencil that I wanted so bad.
yeah,
But I gave it up because Atari came out, and my brother wanted an Atari video game, so I traded my art desk. How could I
yeah.
do that?
Yeah, well,
So,
sometimes a path goes to the left while you should go to the right. It happens
yeah.
to us all, but yeah, well, I was once again I was lucky I could follow my path and my dreams.
So, the one of the other questions is, now I came back to drawing after 20 something years. I was living in Thailand in the north, and I just got this feeling after, like you playing guitar. I was a musician and had some minor success in music and things like that. But I was so tired of hearing myself sing. I was it's so annoying to hear my own voice, you know.
Yeah,
And I wanted to get back to something that is quiet, meditative, and I wanted to get this drawing thing that I started so long ago. I
mm,
just I didn't want any unfinished business in my life with this drawing business. So
mm,
I
mm.
said, I'm going to get it. But I didn't really want to study anything really on the internet, or any courses or anything. I was
Yeah,
kind of stubborn. I just thought, I'm going to get it. I'm going to find it myself. I'm just
mm,
going to sit everywhere I go and just start drawing everything I see in front of me.
yeah,
And so that's what I did for a couple of years. And then it took me time to draw from life, but that's really what I started doing. I started drawing everything from life,
mm,
what I see in front of me. And I
yeah,
think I think that sped up my progress.
Yeah, could be.
Because yeah, I feel like it did, because for me, drawing from things that I see on paper is just so utterly boring for me. I don't like to do that. I tell you.
Yeah. Well, for me, my history is a little bit different. I quit school when I was 15, very young, but my parents might have the idea that I would go to university. I was not able to fit in school system, so I quit at 15, at the age of 15. But I had to make my living. So I jumped into publicity, and within the age of 20, I was starting as a commercial illustrator, and I had to make a living. There was really need to make a living, so that was a push for me also. And after quitting publicity, I was quite successful, so I didn't pay attention too much to that voice in my head, you should be doing portraits. Because I knew portrait was my end. Portraits was my end goal. But as I was successful as an illustrator, I didn't pay attention too much until I thought, well, now I have to make my mind up, sell my guitars, only concentrate on portrait painting. And it maybe also has to do with our move to Spain. There was a time for concentration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, when you started portraits, did you start with, because there's so many genres. I mean, people can start with pencil. People can start with charcoal. People can start with like the Conte Paris. What is that pencil? The sepia pencil. I mean, there's so many different things you can start with. Do you recommend starting with one particular genre, or should people work and practice each one as they're developing their portrait skills?
I don't know what to say. You know, if your aim is to make a living out of it, go for oil portraits.
Oil portraits.
That's well paid. If you're good enough, that's also a trick. Be good enough. Otherwise, there's nothing you can do. Yeah. If you have your level of portrait painting and drawing skills high enough that you think, well, now I'm opening my window shop and I go for clients, oil painting. That's well paid. Try to find a good gallery. Try to find clients, but oil painting, portraits in oil, are the best part of making a living out of it. And also, well, I keep studying. I mean, every week we join and we make we draw here in my studio, and just like playing guitar, you have to practice every day. Yeah, and that's what I do in charcoal or whatever.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about practicing, because in the morning sometimes, well, my routine now in the morning is to have a cup of tea, and then I usually sketch my girlfriend in the morning, a couple of sketches, and maybe I'd show you one in a minute. But in any case, then maybe I'll be at the cafe and I'll sketch someone. But what I'm trying to do, what I'd like to do, is to set up somewhere on the boulevard, because I really like being outdoors. I love bringing drawing to the people. That's what I used to do with music. I was, a busker also, so for me, because I'm not very good at the internet, I'm very old-fashioned. I don't have Facebook. I don't have any of these things, and I kind of refuse to do it. So I don't know where a person like me fits into the world, but I guess I would like to just do portraits in my community. And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's interesting what you say about you as a musician. You need public. You can act in front of the public. I'm a studio artist. I close the curtains And once I'm finished, I open it, and then the public sees what I have made. And you are the opposite. You open the curtains and you start doing your thing. I'm a 9 to 5 studio worker.
Mm-hmm.
Quite disciplined, because I was used in, if you work in publicity, always fighting with deadlines, and also in publicity you have to make what a client wants. In the end, you have more freedom as a portrait painter, but still you make a portrait that it must be the person. The likeness, for instance, is very important. If you can't handle clients or this pressure, then don't start this job.
I think I've heard you say before that you should do 1,000 portraits, or 10,000, or the
Yeah.
master of 10,000 portraits.
Yeah.
For myself, when I was living in Japan, I was working the front desk, so I was drawing everyone that came in, and I went through that really messy phase of messy drawings where it looks like what's that genre of painting that looks almost like comical, sort of comical portraits. Yeah. But I think that let me ask you this question: how can someone who is getting the likeness together, how can they focus in more and more and really start to get into the details? Is that a mindset, or is that a place where you have your office and your desk and everything's quiet to take it to the next level? I mean,
well, a difficult question. I can tell you, it's not a mindset. It's making brush mileage. Well, I'm teaching, and most of the people, they start and they get after an hour, they get just they end up in a bogged down in a mystery. I would advise to these people, try to make a bad portrait, because they are so willing to make a masterpiece from the beginning, and it is so much stressful, and the fear is a handbrake on your development. So we'll try to ruin the portrait and try to ruin hundreds of portraits, because it takes well, that's important, because I'll tell you a story. I was finishing a commission, always commissions, and in the end of the day I thought, well, this is really a headache, a problem. And then you die, of course, me as well. And then I thought, well, okay, this is so difficult. Tomorrow, Ben, take your time, I'll start again. And then 5 minutes later I thought, well, if I start again, well, I can just ruin the thing. And all of a sudden it fell on its place, It's the freedom of mind. But, well, it has to do with your skills. It has to be luck and skills. In the beginning, you are sort of pushing water up to the mountains, but water comes down. Let it go. And yeah, well, that's it takes years.
Can you agree on this point that if you have the drive and the desire, that if you just keep putting the pencil to the paper and you just keep looking, I always say to people, because my girlfriend is an artist also, and I said, when you're drawing me, every time you put a mark on the paper, make sure you're looking at something on my face. Don't try to do anything like from your imagination and put the mark down, because to me, in my opinion, that's where you lose the likeness. Whatever Do you agree with that? I mean, you have to see first. You have to look and see, and then make the mark, right?
Yeah, well, that's about the approach of towards the end goal. There are portrait painters who start with a blur of paint and then go to the details, and you have portrait painters who start with an eye and another eye and a nose and a mouth, and in the end, it's a good result. I can't tell you. It's about your spirit. Talking about music, Tommy Emmanuel, the Canadian. You're out now. There you're back. He talks about, he is crazy about playing guitar, and this craziness is a lifetime fever, and this fever makes you do all the efforts one way or another until it's your path. I think you can't make a plan for your path. You find your path somewhere.
But you love to do it no matter what. I mean, for me,
you're in the end, you are crazy about, for instance, a portrait that you've seen of Sorolla, of Velázquez, whatever. You are so filled with that image that you. In my painting blog, I said how to become a good portrait painter by really wanting to. That's the only basic. That if you really want to achieve something, then you'll get there. And make mileage. You can't win the Champions final, but just, well, let's play a football and then no, go for it for years and years and years, and you can do the effort because it's the fever, your fever that you want to go there.
How long did it take you, or what do you tell people as far as finding a technique for themselves? Do you teach people to draw? This is what I do, by the way. I draw. First, I draw my circle, or circle plus a little square, whatever I have for the head. Then I block in the forehead. Then I work from top to bottom. I leave the chin malleable. I don't finish anything there, but so that's how I. And then I do the right eye, I do this eye, and then I do that eye. And then I do one eye, and then I do the nose. Or I do the nose first before the eye, something like that. Is it, I mean, people should work until they find that specific, they have their own method, obviously. I mean, they have to have
the best path is, for me, start in charcoal and make as quick as possible some sort of form without any detail, and then what I do is I compare the height and the width. That's the way to more or less know if it's good sized. Then I work comparing with the volumes. It's not about lines, it's about the volumes. That's why a portrait with a strong shadow, you see me with a strong shadow. That's the most easy way to get grips on a portrait. Get these bigger forms running, but also it has to do with are you able to draw a skull, the head of the, just only the skull? What's the form of these planes? What's the and that's about studying.
I was going to ask you about that, the skull question, because you know, I mean, some people. I'll just show you something I drew this morning, and well, here was something I was starting. I didn't finish, but this was a Turkish man that I was starting the other day, sitting at the cafe. But hang on here one second. But this was this morning. And that was my girlfriend there, but Yeah, I mean, this is just a 5 minute. This is just a 5 minute drawing, but I'm just trying to get everything quickly, and get the likeness, get everything there. And then sometimes where I have a problem is then going in and working on the details and really getting in. I get a bit, that's where I want to stop. I want to stop there and just say, hey, this is good enough.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, one advice, make a strong lighting. Try to find a strong division between lights and darks. That makes it easier. First, draw the bigger volumes, the tonal value, and then more or less you go into details. But a linear drawing, and I saw you was black hair and just lines for everything, makes it more difficult. First try to divide the face in light and dark, and then you go more to the details, because it's easier to judge if your bigger volumes are right. If you out of the blue must make somewhere an eye and somewhere a nose, then it's where do you relate? And it's easier when you have a face with light and darks.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, because I mean, what I did here is I'm just shading the cheek over here and shading this side of the nose.
Yeah. Well, just keep practicing. That's the only thing I can say.
Yeah.
Keep practicing. And if it's your aim to be a professional, and that's what I told many times, make sure that you are able to come there. Don't listen to the applause of family and friends. Relate your work to the best professional that you think you can get there. It's a pitfall that your parents or your friends say, well, Ben is marvelous. What is that? And a lot of people listen to them and they think, well, maybe I am. But, if you want to play like Tommy Emmanuel, then you're not happy with practicing 1 hour a week.
Listen, I was fortunate in that I met a guy in Florida who was at a raw food potluck. He started training me with music. Yeah. And he had been to Boston College and all of these colleges as a saxophone jazz player. Yeah. But he told me that he never learned how to play Happy Birthday. He was not an ear-based musician. And he said, look, Bobby, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to work with you for free. Yeah. I don't think he said, maybe he didn't say that, but he worked with me for years and gave me all of these ear training exercises and call and response. I was working on the flute. The guy was fantastic, and he was so hard on me, so tough on me. I loved it. And he said music is the accumulation of details. And I really like what he said about that, because it's like paint, it's like drawing. Drawing is just like all these little tiny details, like thousands of details. If you can have the patience to deal with all these little details. And
but it's also but in the end, all these details come together and make music as a whole. And I'm listening. If you ask me what inspires you, ask me.
Yes. What inspires you on a daily basis, Ben?
Yeah, it's not about painters. It's about football and music.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Wow. Painters, they keep me running. See good paintings, they keep me running, and I want to go there. But times ago I saw Romario, in way back when he was playing football in Holland, made a goal. And I said, well, that's the way I want to paint it. So, nothing, and just perfect. Yesterday I was listening to James Taylor in a concert singing Carolina's in My Mind. And the way he plays is so brilliant. Every phase he is slowing down the rhythm, and it gives you such a nice, perfect, calm, perfect feel of what it could be. Well, that inspires me to dominate what you do. The few brush strokes on the right place, and don't touch it anymore. I don't reach it so often, but sometimes I'm there. And after all these years, sometimes it happens to me that I paint a portrait, and in the end I think to myself, was I there? It painted itself.
Yeah.
And that's, well, that belongs to, well, I'm 70 years old now, and I've done this my whole life, so that's the way it happened to me.
That magic, though, you have that. I mean, you've been able to create that magic on a daily basis. That's what you do. I mean,
yeah.
So you have that magic just to be able to look at anyone and duplicate exactly their face. That's do you think that as you do it more and more, that does it even get easier, or does it get to where?
Yeah, well, it gets easier, but that's also a pitfall, because the more easy it, in the end, it can be risked that it's just a trick. And if I really want to do an effort to make a good thing, I suffer every once and again also. Suffering doesn't stop after the first year. Suffering, the good way of suffering, goes with you all your life.
What is it? Can you describe what happens when you get into those moods when you're suffering and you just can't get the nose, you can't get it right? What is it? You're tired, maybe? That could be fatigue.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing. Being tired is a really a pitfall. I tell my students, and maybe I should tell it to myself as well, stop every now and then. Go away, don't look at your painting, and come back with fresh eyes. That's one thing.
Take a deep breath.
But sometimes a painting, sometimes a portrait doesn't want to be painted. That's a stupid thing. Sometimes some portraits, they paint themselves, and other portraits, they don't want to be painted. That's magic. I don't know where it comes from. I was talking, times ago with my commission work, I thought of making a portrait, delivering a good portrait. For me, it was similar as winning the Champions League football. And I always failed. I was never that high. And I talked it with a client in England, and he said, maybe, Ben, you should be happy that you were in the final. I said, well, that's about energy. That's about energy. If you really put all your efforts in that highest level, it's okay, but you will never reach. So let it disappear. And then maybe it comes up. Well, it's about concentration, about, well, everything in life. It has to do with everything in life. It has to do with the harmony at home, your health, your everything.
Yeah. I was in Thailand one time. I was drawing a couple. They were going to pay me $10 or something, and they were sitting in front of a bar, and the music was very, very loud. The whole street was very, very loud, and so I'm sketching. I sketched the man, and I thought I did pretty good on the man, and then I went over to sketch the woman next to him on the paper, and it just started to get so late, and the music was getting louder, and my eyes are getting so tired, and I just could not I could not get that woman.
Yeah.
I was panicking.
Yeah. But well, one thing I have to say, of course, but portrait painting is the most difficult thing you can think of,
Yeah.
apart from winning the Champions League.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
No, I have students and they want to be good enough to make commissions. Well, it's the most difficult thing in art. If you make an abstract painting, nobody tells you the eye is wrong or the likeness isn't good. If you really want to do portrait painting, well, it isn't easy. Just simply, it isn't easy. If you want to be in the Royal Albert Hall with a concert, well, then you must study. If your level is only playing in bars, and you want to go to the biggest concert, then well, just practice,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps if you feel that you're going to get there. If you really want something that does nothing for you, then you might have a problem. You might be unhappy.
For me, Ben, personally, I feel like I've put in a lot of time in the trenches and I'm ready to do something a little jump further, which is to go set my easel outside and just draw for a few pesos and, and this, because I need that, the live drawing, and I need models, and I don't have a studio, so that would be the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Actually, the whole thing is about how to be happy in life.
Yes.
It's not about making money. The more money, the happier. But the things that I did, I developed my talent because it made me happy.
Yes.
And there is nothing more secret to that.
That's it. Thank you for that. Thank you. That's it.
So maybe that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was for me. It's sort of the last play, which is, well, what else is there for me? This is what I like. And why am I asking people, should I put my easel out on the boardwalk? What do you think? Just for the people who move ahead, they just put themselves, just do it. I mean, like you said, when you make a picture, forget the fear factor. Just make it and give it away, or throw it away, or burn it after.
Exactly. Well, I'll give you another example. You're good in cycling, and you join the club for cycling. In the end, you go for the competition, cycling competition, and you're willing. In the end, your dream is to win the Tour de France and get first in becoming in Paris. If you want to go quick to Paris, take the train. And don't go on a bicycle. But you want to go on a bicycle because going on a bicycle makes you happy.
Yeah.
And it's not about arriving first in Paris, because suffering on the bicycle makes you happy.
I think that's why I'm drawn to you, because you're very generous with your spirit and your art, and I think that's you said it right there when you talk about being happy. That's what everyone is really looking for, right? They want to be happy.
Yeah, that's the only task we have in life.